Okay. I've shared my whiteboard. I hope that you would be able to see that in a bit. Okay. So today we will talk about arithmetic series. Okay. Hello, Gayatri. Right. So before starting the new topic, I would like to give you a quick recap of what we have discussed yesterday, right? So initially we were talking about binomial expansion. We used that formula NCR a to the power n minus r b to the power r. That's old now, okay? The new stuff is that then we started talking about sequences. You can also call a sequence a progression. And we were talking about arithmetic progressions specifically, right? So I am used to calling it arithmetic sequences, right? That's the same thing. We just discussed one formula yesterday, and that formula was for writing down the nth term. So we write it down this way. Nth term equals a plus n minus 1 into d, where a used to be the first term, n used to be the number of term we were interested in finding, and d is the common difference, because what is an arithmetic sequence? Any sequence that has a common difference is an arithmetic sequence, right? We have discussed that. Another thing which we talked about yesterday was this, that this formula is not that straightforward. You can use this formula for finding n as well. Usually we use it for finding the nth term, like we would be asked to find the 20th term. We would be knowing the first term, the difference, we'll plug in a, n, and d, that would give us the 20th term. But not necessarily. It could be that they give you a term, let's say the last term, and they want you to find how many terms that sequence has. You will just plug in the value of the last term here, the value of first term, difference, and you will find n, right? So since this is maths, we can use one formula for finding different things. Just like for area equals length into breadth, we can find area by using length and breadth, and we can find length by using area and breadth, right? So we can just, play with this formula and talk about different things. Okay, this is good. This is what we have discussed, right? I would not rub this. I'll just rub the extra things. And yeah, that is it. I'll rewrite that. It is n minus 1 into d. Okay, today we will talk about arithmetic series. First thing is that what is the difference in series and sequence? So I'll write it down and you would understand that. So let's say I have a sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. This is certainly an arithmetic sequence because the difference in two consecutive terms is fixed and it is positive 1. This is arithmetic sequence. What would be the corresponding arithmetic series? I'll write down all the terms with a plus sign. And that is it. So basically, when you add up the terms of the sequence, we call these arithmetic series. For example, let's say I have another sequence 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and so on. Again, this is certainly an arithmetic sequence because how do we recognize if our sequence is arithmetic or not? It has a fixed difference of 3. Difference could be positive, it could be negative. So it is an arithmetic sequence. What would be the series? We'll write it down this way. The series would be 3 plus 6 plus 9 plus 12 plus 15. I'm writing down all the terms, and instead of this comma, I'm using plus sign. So we call them the series, okay? So these are two arithmetic series for this and this arithmetic progression or sequence. So that is just a simple concept. That is it, okay? Let's talk about what are we going to learn in this section. Okay, So the question could be about this, that you would be asked to find the sum of an arithmetic progression. Okay, so I'll first write down the formula and then I'll tell you how to do it. So we have two formulas for this. And we'll see when to use which formula. So the first one says Sn equals n by 2 a plus L. Gayatri, I'll end this class at 5:45 Pakistan time, okay? And this is Sn equals n by 2 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Okay. Now these are the two formulas that you would be using in this section. What exactly is this formula giving you? What is this Sn? Sn is sum of n terms. The examiner is going to give you a sequence, or maybe he would give you some series, and he would ask you to find the sum of first 20 terms or 25 terms or 30 terms and stuff like that, right? How would you play with it? You will plug in the value of n, that would be 20. You'll plug in the value of the first term, and what is L? L is the last term. Or let's say you do not know L, you do not know what exactly is the last term. You know the difference, okay? So you can use this formula. It's again n by 2. 2a is the first term, n is the number of term that you are, summing the series, and D is the difference. So it totally depends on the question. If the question has A and L and they want you to find the sum of all the series, like starting from A dot 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 L, then you can use this formula. In case that you do not know L, you can use D to find the sum. Okay. So these are the two formulas which we use. Okay. Another formula that we might need, or let's talk about some examples from this, and then I'll talk about that. Let's just, get a good grip at this first. Okay, just give me 1 second. I got a message from Haris. Okay, it's a voice message, so I'll listen to it later on. Okay. So I'll write down an example and we'll do it, okay? We don't need this now. I'll rub this. And in case of any questions, please stop me and feel free to ask me. So far, I have not explained much. That is why I'm not asking you. Okay. It says, in an arithmetic progression, the first term is minus 12. The 17th term is 12. And the last term is 45. It says, find the sum of all the terms in the progression. Okay. Let's read the question. Then I'll give you a minute to think about it, just so you guys get good at, the thinking process. And then I'll explain you how to do this. This is the first term. Okay, let's do it. This is the very first example from this section. Okay, so it says in an arithmetic progression. I'll underline the keywords. For now, arithmetic progression is not a keyword for you because this is the only progression, this is the only sequence that you have studied, right? When we will talk about geometric, then it could be that you get confused at times. So it says, in an arithmetic progression, the first term is minus 12. The 17th term is 12 and the last term is 45. Find the sum of all the terms in the progression. Okay, so this means that I will not write down the solution. I'll just give you an idea. So it is like this, that the first term is minus 12, then we have some more terms, then the 17th term is 12, and then the last term is 45. We do not know what the common difference is. We do not know what n is, like what is the value of n at this point, right? And this is the last one. So in order to find the sum of all the terms in the progression, when you do not have the difference, you can use this formula. But the problem is that we do not even have the n. N would be the number of last term in this case, right? So you have other things and you can go around with them. You can go about those things and then think about N and then use this formula. So I'll give you a minute, try understanding the question and think about it. And whatever comes to your mind, just type in the comment box. Okay, 1 complete minute is for you. Okay, so I'll mute the mic. Yes, any idea? Anything that has come to your mind? Any random guess? I won't mind wrong answers, and you guys know this by now. Yes, Munja, what do you think about this?
I was a bit confused, but I thought maybe to
Hmm.
find maybe the 16th term, so we can find the maybe.
Okay, that's not an issue. Okay, it's good that you guys have thought about it, and now I'll tell you it's completely fine. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is the solution. Since this is the very first examples, I was not expecting an answer from you guys. The thing is that what is the problem? The problem is that we need to find the sum of all the terms in the progression. We do not have we do not know what is the last number of term. So we cannot use the first formula, we cannot use the second formula, right? We need to calculate a few things and only then we would be able to use any of these formulas. So let's go about it. Right, so we know that nth term is a plus n minus 1 into d. Okay, this is a formula that we discussed yesterday. And we know that first term is minus 12 and the 17th term is 12. So what if I use this thing to make an equation. 17th term is 12. That means 12 would come here. A is minus 12 plus 17 would come in place of n minus 1 into d. Now this is an equation and this equation has one variable only, so I can easily find the value of d. So 12 and this minus 12 would go to that side. Plus 12 equals 16 into d, and 12 plus 12 is 24 divided by 16 equals d. And finally, you are going to get d as 1.5. So d would be 1.5. Okay, it's good that we got d. And now we can use this formula as well, but we need n. We need n for both these formulas. And what would be n? N would be the last term. We need to see if the last term is the 19th term, the 20th term, the 50th term. We need to find that thing, okay? So how would we do that? Okay, now we know that. Again, I will use the same formula, that nth term is a plus n minus 1 into d. I know that whatever the nth term is, that is 45. I know the first term, that is minus 12, and I need to find this n, and d is 1.5. Okay, we have just calculated that. Now this n would help me find the sum of all the terms in the progression. So 45 plus 12 equals n minus 1 into 1.5, and this is going to give you 57 divided by 1.5 equals n minus 1. And what is the value of n? That is 38 equals n minus 1. So n is going to be 39, okay? We did not get the answer, but we have all the things that we would be using in order to find the answer. Now it is your choice. You can use the first formula, you can use the second formula. Now I would expect an answer from you guys. Please use any of these formulas. Either you can use the first one because you have the last term, that is 45, you have n, that is 39, you have a, that is minus 12, or you can use this formula and tell me what is the sum of all the terms in the progression. Yes, Gayatri, are you able to understand this? Okay, very good. Okay, so I'll help you with the first one. So I am using this formula. I need to find sum till the last term. So I'll just write it down. Sn, n is going to be 39. 39 equals 39 divided by 2. A is minus 12. L is the last term, that is 45. And that is it. And now I'll simplify this and I am going to get 643.5. This is the answer. You could have used this formula as well, but I think this one is simple when you have the last term, right? So Maheen and Ishal and Munja, did you understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, very good. I'll write down another example and let's see if we can do that. Okay. So the next example is the 10th term is 14 and the sum of first 7 terms is 42. Find the first term of the progression and the common difference. Okay, let's see. Now again, I'll underline the keywords. It says the 10th term is 14. Again, we're talking about an arithmetic progression. The 10th term is 14. The sum of the first 7 terms is 42. Find the first term of the progression and the common difference. Again, we have discussed 2 formulas only. I'll write down the third one over here, the one that we explored yesterday. And you need to use these formulas and then think about the answer. So we know that nth term is basically a plus n minus 1 into d, right? Okay. So you can use any of these 3 formulas that you need to decide that. Use the underlined pieces of information and then think about the first term and the common difference. Again, I'll give you 2 minutes. Please try doing it this time, or at least think about it, because I am only giving you this time just so your thinking process it expands and you start thinking logically, right? Okay, so I'll mute again and now think about it. All right. Any luck with the solution? Anyone who was able to do this? Anyone who was able to find the first term only? We just need to use the formula and that is it. Even if the answer is wrong, I would not mind it, okay? So you guys were not able to do this? Okay, I'll do it again. So let's do it. Acha, so it says the 10th term is 14. Just stop here, use this formula and make the equation. So we know that the nth term is equal to a plus n minus 1 into d. What is the nth term? What is the value of the nth term? It is 14. So I'll plug in 14 and that equals a plus. We do not have any information about the first term. So I'll just write down a plus. What is n? N is 10, okay? 10 minus 1, and I do not have the common difference d, so I'll write that down again. I'll simplify this and this would give me 14 equals a plus 9d. This is the first equation. You will see using the second piece of information, this one that I've underlined with pink, I would be able to get another equation and then I'll just solve both of these equations simultaneously. Now it says sum of the first 7 terms is 42. Now they did not talk about the last term anywhere. They are not saying that it is the sum of all the terms, so we will not use this formula, right? We'll talk about the other formula, that is this formula. So what exactly is this? Sn equals n by 2, 2a plus n minus 1 into d. What exactly is the sum? It says the sum of first 7 terms is 42. So I will plug in 42 equals n is 7 by 2. 2 multiplied by a. I do not have any information about the first term, so I leave that. N again is 7 minus 1 into d. I'll simplify this. I'll take 2 to the other side and that would give me 84 equals 7 into 2a plus 6d. And finally, I am going to get 84 equals 14a plus 42d. Now I have the two simultaneous equations and all I need to do is solve them simultaneously, and that is going to give me the first term, that is a, and the common difference, that is d. Okay, so I would expect that you guys can do this much at least. Okay, so please try doing it on your own and tell me the answers. So I want an answer from each one of you, whatever it is. Okay, I would not mind that, even if it is very, very weird. Ishal, Gayatri, Mahin, and Munja, please try it on your own. Just so if you're not able to understand anything, you can ask me right now. Okay, we do not have that much time. This is the crash course session. Do not think that you will after the class you would revise and things would get better. You don't have time for that now. Okay, you need to do things now with me, and then in free time you need to do past papers. Okay, so I got one message. Let's see who's that. Okay, very good. Shal is trying. I want all of you to try. Okay, before you try, I will simplify the second equation just so it gets easier for you. We can take we can take 14 common on both sides, and that would give you 6 equals a plus 3d. This is the second equation. Now try solving it simultaneously. Yes. Can anyone tell me? What is A and what is D? Hmm? Yes, Ashal, Munja, Gayatri, and Maheen. Whatever you got, just type that, please.
Mm.
Hmm.
For A, I got minus, no, 4/3.
For common difference, D?
No, for A.
Okay, and what is D?
Um,
Your answer is correct, but the thing is that 4/3 is basically the difference, okay? So I think you just made a mistake while
oh yeah,
writing
yeah.
it down.
Sorry. The
Yeah,
difference is, yeah, D is 4/3.
very
Sorry.
good. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Excellent. And Gayatri, what about you? All right, okay. That's fine. Let's do it. This is the first simultaneous equation. This is the second one. Now, how do we solve simultaneous equations?
We can use substitution or elimination.
Very good. But since A and A are same, so I would prefer using elimination. I'll just do 1 minus 2. This is the first equation. This is the second one. I'll subtract both of these. So if I talk about the left-hand side, 14 minus 6. If I talk about the right-hand side, A plus 9D minus A plus 3D. And that would give me 14 minus 6 is 8 equals A plus 9D minus A minus D. A and A is cancelled. 8 equals 6D and D is going to be 4 by 3. Okay, so once you have your D,
Yeah, A is equal to 2.
oh yeah, once you have your D, you can just plug in the value of D over here and find the value of A. So that is going to be 6 equals A plus 3 into 4 by 3. Very good, Munja. And A is going to be 2. So this is the answer, right? That is how we calculate such things, okay? So I hope that this section is clear now, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the last and the second progression that is part of your syllabus. I'll clear this and I'll talk about it now. Okay. The second and the last progression is geometric progression. So I'll write that down. You can call it progressions, you can call it sequences. It's completely your choice, whatever you're comfortable with. But if the examiner uses the term progressions, do not get confused, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Right. Now I'll talk about another type of a sequence. Let me write down an example. So let's say this time around you have 2, 6, 18, 54, so on. So this is a sequence, right? First, you'll think about the arithmetic progression. You'll just check if all these terms have a fixed difference or not. And what do you see? You see that the difference is not fixed. If the difference is not fixed, this certainly is not an arithmetic progression, okay? So what is the second choice? The second choice is
Geometric.
very good, this one. And how do we know? In case of geometric progressions, we have a fixed ratio. So from 2 to 6, I can go from 2 to 6 by multiplying 3. I can go from 6 to 18 by multiplying 3. I can go from 18 to 54 by multiplying 3. So this time around, I'm multiplying something and that something has a name in maths. We call this ratio. So in geometric progressions, we have a fixed ratio. In arithmetic progressions, we have a fixed difference, okay? And this is the difference in both these progressions, right? Okay. Now, ratio could be positive, it could be negative, it could be greater than 1, it could be less than 1. For example, let's say I have 27, 9, 3, 1, 1 by 3, 1 by 9, and so on. What is this? This again is not an arithmetic progression. My terms are changing by multiplying something, and that something this time around is less than 1. It is a fraction. It is 1 by 3, right? So this thing is important. You need to understand, at times students think that ratios are always less than 1. When we say ratio, it is 4 by 5, it is 1 by 3, it is 2 by 3. No, it is not like that, okay? Ratio could be 3, 4, 5, 6, like this one. It could be 2, it could be 1 by 2, 1 by 3, and so on, right? So this is the idea about all geometric progressions and sequences. Okay. Let's talk about the formulas now. So just like arithmetic progression, where I had a formula for the nth term, now I'll write down the formula for the nth term in case of geometric progression. And now formulas would increase. So please, please, please start revising things. Although you would be having the data booklet and all that, but still, I won't advise you to, trust and rely on that. You don't have that much time in exam. So nth term in case of a geometric sequence or a geometric progression is A, that is the first term, R, that is the ratio, N minus 1. This again is the first term. This is the fixed or the common ratio. And N is the number of term which you are finding. Okay. This is the idea about this chapter. So I'll write down an example and let's see if we can do it or not. So it says, the fifth term is 1 and common ratio is 1 by 2. Find the eighth term and an expression for the nth term. Okay, this is the question. Let's read it now. The fifth term is 1. Obviously, they're talking about geometric progression. This is obvious because we are on that section. Okay, it won't be obvious in exam. You need to think about it. So either the examiner would tell you or he would give you the sequence, and through the sequence, you will see if it has a fixed difference, it is arithmetic. If it has a fixed ratio, it is geometric. The fifth term is 1 and the common ratio is 1 by 2. Find the eighth term and an expression for the nth term. So I have two pieces of information. Fifth term is 1. Common ratio is 1 by 2. That is good. I need to find the eighth term and an expression for the nth term. Okay, I'll tell you how to do it now. So we have been told that the fifth term is 1. So I'll write the formula. Nth term is a into r to the power n minus 1. It is 1. I am not sure about the first term, so I'll just write down a. Common ratio is 1 by 2 and n is 5 minus 1. I'll play with this. This equation has one variable only, that is a. I can easily find the value of a by making it the subject. So 1 equals a into anything to the power 1 would be 1 divided by 2 to the power 5 minus 1, that is 2 to the power 4, and that is going to be 16. And now I'll just take 16 to that side, and this would give me A equals 16. Okay, that is good. Now they want me to find the 8th term. Again, I'm going to use the same formula. So I'll do it directly now. I need to find the 8th term where A is 16. I've just calculated that. R is 1 by 2 and N is 8 minus 1. We have that in the formula. So it is going to be 16 into 1 over 2 to the power 7. And that is going to give me
1 over 128.
1 by 8, right? Yeah, it is 1 by 8. Okay, this is the 8th term. And what is the other part of the question? They're saying, and an expression for the nth term. What do they mean by that? This is the expression for the nth term. The only thing is that I need to plug in the value of A and the value of R, and then that is it. So nth term for a sequence whose first term is 16 and whose ratio is 1 by 2. This is going to be the idea. I'll drop this now, right? So that is the formula. This was 1 by 8. Okay, this is the answer. So any confusions, anything that you did not understand? Okay. I'll talk about one last example for today, and then that is it. So the second and fifth terms are 12 and 40.5 respectively. Find the first term and the common ratio. Okay, again, we have some information. We need to use that information in order to make equations. Once we have those equations, we can solve them simultaneously, and we would be able to find first term and the common difference. Okay. So the second term is 12. So I'll use this formula directly. 12 equals A into R. Second term means N is 2. So N minus 1 would be 1. So this is the first equation. There's no point in writing down 1, so I leave it this way. The second equation is that the fifth term is 40.5. So 40.5 equals A into R power N minus 1. Fifth term means 5 minus 1, that is 4. And now I have the two equations, and I need to solve them simultaneously in order to find A and R. So I can go about it this way. 2 divided by 1, I will divide both these equations. So for the left hand side, 40.5 divided by 12 equals a to the r power 4 divided by a to the r. A and a is cancelled, r is cancelled, and I'll subtract 1. So 40.5 divided by 12, 27 by 8 equals r cubed. I'll take cube root on both sides, and this would be cancelled. And finally, I am going to get r equals 3 by 2. So r has turned out to be 3 by 2. Now I can use any of these equations, the value of r, to find a. Let's use 1. So 1 is that 12 equals AR. I need to find A. I'll plug in the value of R. I'll take 2 to that side. That would become 24 divided by 3 equals A. And A is 8. So this is the answer, right? We had to find the first term, the common ratio. And now, by now, I'm pretty sure that you guys must have noticed a pattern in these questions, that they are giving you some information. Using that information, we are making equations, and using these equations, we can easily find the value of a and r. Same was happening in arithmetic progressions as well, right? So anything that you did not understand? Yes, Mahin, Munja, and Ashal, did you understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, miss.
All right, okay, perfect. So that is it. Then I'll stop the recording and I'll see you